Wholesalers, we're here today with Sarah Lampe. She's the head of sales and relationship management at Wholesaler Masterminds Schedulers. Sarah, how are you?
Good. How are you, Rob?
I'm good, thanks. Let's talk about 3 reasons why a wholesaler would want to do business with Wholesaler Masterminds Schedulers versus another company. What would the first reason be?
The first reason would definitely be our relationship with you, and our ability to really take what you're teaching the wholesaling community, what you're teaching your clients through your podcasts, through articles that you've written, and really look at it from a scheduler perspective and use that information to help our schedulers be a little bit more effective.
Now, one of the things I know that has helped both wholesalers as well as schedulers as you translate what we teach wholesalers to schedulers is the peerless value proposition. How has that come into play? Why has that been at all effective for schedulers?
Absolutely. So we have definitely found using a peerless value proposition sets us apart because we're using our clients' peerless value proposition in our scripting to create a more compelling message for advisors to want to meet with our clients. So it's no longer just about, I've got so-and-so in the area and they'd like to meet with you. It's now about what that client of ours can offer to the advisor, outside of just location.
Well, yeah, compelling reason why the wholesaler should be seen. And it could be about the peerless value proposition, but it could also be about product, right? I mean, you can't speak specifically about product, but you can help tell the company's story and underscore the high level of why a product category should be seen. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we definitely like to incorporate company story. We've used little tidbits that you've given us on conference calls about things that are just going on in the financial industry. And we've played off of those in the past in our scripts to help create that message that's really going to stick in the mind of the advisor.
So the first reason, compelling reason we hope, would be that there's a relationship between Wholesaler Mastermind Schedulers and, well, Wholesaler Masterminds. What would a second reason be?
Secondly, I would have to say it's the level of care that we provide to our clients. So we're not just here to, bring in as many accounts as possible and, assign you to a scheduler and that's it, we're done, end of relationship. That's not Wholesaler Mastermind Schedulers. We like to, provide each client with individual care, with follow-up calls to make sure that the relationship is going well with a scheduler. We really look to make a very good match between a client and a scheduler from the very beginning. Sometimes it's a miss, and we may have to revisit that at a later time, but we're very proactive about finding out the client's experience and making sure that we're making the most of that.
Let's talk about that for a second. So obviously we have wholesalers that come to us on their own, and we have wholesalers that come to us through the good graces of their company, corporate accounts, for which we're very appreciative. We have relationship management oversight in both of those cases. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So with our current clients, what we like to do is follow up individually at least once a quarter. If we're identifying an issue, if we're not seeing the results we'd like to see, we'll reach out before that quarter comes up. It's to anybody whose account we kind of see that with. But at the very least, our goal is to reach out to our clients each quarter and just make sure, just get some feedback on how the scheduling process is going for our clients.
So the first reason for why we would want wholesalers to consider us would be the relationship with Wholesaler Mastermind Schedulers. The second reason would be the relationship management oversight, as you said, the care that we take and the importance that we place on the relationship between either the individual wholesaler or the corporate customer that brings us wholesalers, and we take that very, very seriously. What would the third reason be? Why would a wholesaler wish to consider us?
Well, it kind of runs along the same vein as the level of care that we provide, except this goes a little bit further of, we customize your experience based off of what you're doing in your business. So we have clients who, have their scheduler set up within their CRM, or we've got alternatives if you don't want to give your scheduler access to a CRM or give them access to your email handle. It doesn't have to be a company email handle. So we're able to individualize your account based off of your specifications. We do have a very clearly defined process that we like to follow, but we're also able, to tailor that to what works best for your region, for your business.
I think it's important that we don't lose sight of the ultimate fact, which is, yes, we're going to be able to tailor the experience with Wholesaler Mastermind schedulers to fit the individual wholesaler. Yes, we care about our clients, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right oversight to make sure the relationship between the wholesaler and the scheduler is always sound. Yes, we want to capitalize on the relationship between the scheduling organization and Wholesaler Masterminds itself. And I think the bottom line is we strive to get results. We realize that we're a sales company, and we're trying to sell the appointment, and we don't lose sight of that. As a matter of fact, there's some sales training that takes place in the organization. Isn't that true?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're always looking for that next thing that's going to set us apart from any other scheduling company. We're not satisfied with the status quo. We're always going to look for another tool that we can add that's going to make our schedulers even better at what they do.
Wholesalers, we're very interested in becoming a part of your practice. If you'd like to learn more about Wholesaler Mastermind schedulers, go to wmmschedulers.com, wmmschedulers.com. You get all the details right there. Sarah, thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Rob.